Welcome to the Operation Game Night Podcast, where the mission objective is to play more board games. Put your battle rattle on and mount up. Let's start the show. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Operation Game Night Podcast. I'm your host, Travis Smith, and this is episode 19. I am joined, as always, by my co-hosts, Clayton Gable. How you doing, Clay?
I'm doing great, Travis. How about you?
I'm doing just swell. And we have our co-host, Jared Erickson, on for a couple minutes. Jared, how are you?
I am well. I went into the laundry room to try and get some better audio, but I misjudged how long the intro was. So you get the sounds of me running into the laundry room, and you might hear swooshes from the laundry. But here I am.
From vacation, right?
Yes. So you're catching me live down here in Savannah, Georgia. We took a little jaunt over to the sea. By sea, I mean the Atlantic Ocean. But yeah, we're here with our good friends, the Tavoyans. High school. We met the wife in high school, and then Dallin came on board in college, and then we sunk up in Ohio. And turns out we all have a great passion for board games. So that's
love to
we
hear
can get
that.
into that a little bit today. But
He wouldn't be your friend otherwise.
I know, it's like, check the box. Do you fit this bill? No. Okay, get the F out. So
That's the only
You're not what we're looking for right now.
Hey, I already got enough friends. You're good. Okay, so we have a very special episode today. Today is our year in review. This will be our last podcast episode for 2024. We're going to take next week off to be with family and friends, and then we'll be back in the new year better than ever. But today we have episode 19, which is our special year in review. We're going to debrief our weeks. We are going to fall in on the mission objective, which is our year in review. And then we're going to go over the fence and outside the wire and talk about what we've been doing outside of board gaming. So, Jared.
Whoa. Before we begin, I do have a special presentation, if you would oblige me.
Yes, special present.
What we have here is the Silver Spurs Syndicate. I wanted to take this chance to deliver my holiday gifts to my homies. And up first, for Travis, I went on to Fiverr, and I found myself an artist who was interested in creating a little root character for me. Now, this is AI generated. This is not. I did not pay for this. I took 5 days, over the course of 5 days, because I have a ChatGPT free, so I only get to try to do this twice a day, and then it cuts me off. Okay. But over the course of 5 days, I was able to come up with the Silver Spurs Syndicate.
Okay.
Action for root. Here is Travis Smith as the Silver Spurs Syndicate. He's got a mic in his hand.
Wow.
He is here to help broadcast the good word of the other factions if they so need to.
Do I see a little engineer tattoo peeking out from underneath his sleeve?
Yeah. I got a little sneak peek in there. He's a cowboy, obviously, because the dude has a love for cowboys, lifted trucks, and hunting. But the Silver Spurs Syndicate, they don't skimp on getting their broadcasting out to the woodland. They get the critters information out. I mean, it's a good pairing with the Woodland Alliance to help spread that descent across the woodland. But other people can use them too to kind of like launch their pieces into parts of the unknown to send their message across the land. So I will send this to you, but this is my gift, my holiday gift to Travis.
What sort of creature is this? Is this like a weasel?
It is a weasel.
Yes.
I couldn't figure out what kind of woodland creature to get you, but we went with a weasel.
I don't know what that says about me, but I like it. He's pretty cute.
I mean, I was a huge wild weasel in back in the academy. So I mean, but you were not a huge wild weasel. But
I'm gonna have to make this my character in like the Root RPG. We need to get somebody to facilitate a campaign in the Root RPG for us, so that I can play as this character.
Yes, but
Man.
I mean, Fiverr was awesome. The guy who helped me out was very professional. He was really quick, and I thought it was neat. It's on trend for the other root
Yes, I love it.
factions and stuff. So
Yeah, that's awesome, Jared.
there
Thank
you go.
you.
But
I love it.
well, so then I was like, okay, well, these two guys really love root, so I do have another presentation. So for Clay, I want to do something a little different and not just make another faction. I have created a playmat for Cleowolf.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
it it is oddly similar to the Vagabond. But Clay doesn't get his own faction, but I tried to do a little get a little cutesy with his faction board here.
Oh my
Obviously, his
gosh.
natural habitat is being at home. He loves relationships, and AI also helped me down in that bottom right corner create the three character duo. I'm obviously the pug with a hammer, and there's Travis with his
Oh
mic'd up
my gosh.
cowboy.
I love it.
So thank you. Well,
Wow.
actually, I would be remiss if I didn't thank Adri because we had to do a lot of post production on this one. This was all Adri, me sitting like behind Adri's shoulder, just like whispering in her ear, like, "Oh, we should do this, we should do that." But some of my highlights here, just real quick, is he battles his inner demons when the Steelers lose. Did they win last night? I can't remember. Did they?
No.
Oh, they're for the Ravens, right?
Yeah. They could have won
Okay,
the
well,
division, but they didn't. So I am battling right now
yeah.
as we speak.
So he's battling his inner demons. I did like down there repair or craft the ID4 again.
Oh
Clay
my
has
gosh.
pretty rough situation with his electric vehicles. So
Yep.
anyways, this was what we threw together. I mean, I kind of felt like, hey, I want to be, and I will send these to you guys very
Yes,
shortly.
please
But
do.
Yes.
I'm gonna print that sucker out for the wall. That's going in the game room, Jared.
that's awesome. But it's like, not materialistic, but it's something that you could print it out if you want to.
I
You can
intend
do
to.
anything you want with them. We own the rights to the Silver Spurs Syndicate, so you can do
Excellent.
what you want with that bad boy. We can work on your player mat, Clay, if you need. We were trying to get escape velocity in there
Oh, is that
last
why Mary
night.
was asking me about that?
Yeah, so Adri did say she would touch it again one more time if you need a little update, and if you want to swap out
I think it's
something in your
beautiful.
satchel.
Yeah, I
So
love the personal touches in there. My freaking special pictures and the battling my demons after
and then
Steelers losing. Like,
freaking Travis posted, or I think it was right. Travis posted last night on the Instagram about how much he loves Root, and I'm like, it just solidified that I made the right decision
Oh,
to
yeah.
go Root
Yep.
themed.
Yeah,
that's
from
right.
our episode with Vic.
Yep.
On
Yeah.
Legacy Moss. Yeah.
Dang.
So,
Well, thanks,
anyways,
Jared.
that was my special presentation. So
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Jared.
I just love my boys.
You're a good trio finisher here.
This is a strong team, and I want to continue this adventure. So
yes. While we have you, do you want to talk about playing Lost Ruins of Arnak in person for the first time?
Bro, yes. So Dallin, my boy here, we've been the one that I keep talking about that I play on and on Board Game Arena, Lost Ruins of Arnak. We know when a card comes up, like what's going on with that card, if it's a throwaway card. So it's almost like it's like a chess match at this point on BGA. But we slung out the expansion. The
nice.
Is it the Explorers expansion? I can't.
Expedition Leaders, I believe.
Expedition Leaders, and so we've tried out a few different ones. It's just awesome being in the same room as him, and then playing a game that we both love. So he has been fully immersed into the leaders, and I eked out a couple wins, but I think you give him one more day, and I'm going to be way behind. I played with the captain. Really cool. You get an extra instead of just 2 workers, you get a third, and you can move your worker and take a available assistant. It has a whole bunch of new awesome cards, items, and artifacts that you have different abilities, and they're unique. Like you can move your worker, but only on the same row. Like that's a new one that I really like. There's one that is like a crowbar that lets you buy an item or an artifact for one less gold or compass. I thought that was awesome.
Nice.
So, anyways, we're just spoiling ourselves with the expansion, and we'll have to go back to the BGA. But that's okay. That's okay. It'll just make it all that sweeter when we get back together to hit the table together. So, yeah, I really liked the expansion. I thought it was like it felt the same. I don't know if anyone's quite overpowered yet. We're still working out the bugs and stuff and playing with it, but it's tons of fun. Just a new way to interact with the board, and I love it. So.
What's that one leader that like wants fear cards? Isn't there one that?
Yes, he's like
is it
the mystic.
The mystic, yeah.
The mystic. So like you can take 4 fear cards and turn that into like overcoming a guardian, or take 3 fear cards and these awesome like benefits and bonuses. And we both were up into the high 90s without even really going hard. So like the points are a little bit higher based off of the boards that you're using. Yeah, and there's 2 new research tracks too, which was really like that. So I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the which one, the snake one on the original board game.
Yeah.
I always play the bird track, the bird research track. I like it. It's the more basic one. Maybe I'll get more into snaking here because of the expansion. So it was a blast. Had a lot of fun. And our girls, we have like these 3 amazing, beautiful blonde girls that are running around. Gemma's 2.5, and then the girls, they just turned 6. So they are having a blast, like just playing together, running around, squealing, and hence why I'm in the laundry room, and you can probably just hear the laundry going every swoosh that it goes. So
all good.
Hey Jared, was that the first? I know it's the first time you guys played together in person, but had Dallin ever played in person before, or was he only on BGA?
He's only ever been on BGA. So this one was a big one. I considered getting him the game for Christmas, but I'm not sure Haley, his wife, would really be into it. And we do like playing it on BGA. It's like a way easier. The setup's simple.
Yeah.
I did end up getting him Sky Team.
Nice.
Hashtag Sky Team for his gift for Christmas. So
freaking gift guy. Did you guys play that?
Not yet. We will be playing it before we leave. We're here for a couple more days. So
have you introduced him to any other games? Like, I know you guys played Dune, right? Dune Imperium?
We played Dune, which was awesome. He kicked my butt big time. 12 to 9. Not only did he trigger endgame, then he whipped out an intrigue card on me and just really throttled me near the end there.
Have you played that one before?
Never. Yeah, he picked it up like that. The first time he ever played, he was dominating. So
wow,
that's cool.
He's a smart cookie. He's a PhD. He's actually doing some COVID research down in. He's at University of Arizona in Tucson, and super smart dude. So it's easy for him to pick up any kind of strategy game and stuff. So we also played Quacks of Quedlinburg. Is it Quedlinburg or Bog?
Quedlinburg.
Quedlinburg. Doesn't Rodney say Bog?
Oh, he's
Canadian. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. That's why he's so nice. Okay. Makes sense. All right.
I'm glad you're getting some freaking games in, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the Tesla, the front trunk was full of games. There was no room for anything else. Adri's like, hey, I think we need to bring this for Gemma. I'm like, no room. Throw it out.
The frunk is reserved for games.
The frunk is only for games.
Love it.
So
excellent. I'm going to skip ahead on my debrief for a second because last night we had game night and I busted out Camel Up and I showed our game group here Camel Up, and it was a huge hit. And I was channeling my inner Jared, and I ended up winning, but it was because I bet super early, like maybe early second leg. I was betting on winner and loser, and then it went like this ebb and flow. The camels are up, they're back, they're like doing all sorts of crazy stuff. We ended up with like a 6 stack crossing the finish line together.
No.
Yeah, maybe not a 6 stack, but it was definitely, how many camels are there total? 5, 6, 7? There was definitely
crazies.
Yeah, there's 5 colored and 2 crazies. But
yeah, so I had a stack of 6 cross the finish line together because there was one more that was hanging out at the back, and I got them all correct. And I brought home a huge win. So that game
that's probably got to be, your heart was probably racing. It's like sports betting. It's like real life sports betting. You're like, I need Patrick Mahomes to throw 2 more touchdowns. Like,
I think the only like rival to that experience was when we set up Ready Set Bet on the big screen in Clay's house. And we had like the table of like the betting table all laid out, and we're like watching the horses race and betting on the table. That was awesome.
Yes.
That was such a cool experience.
Oh yeah, man! Board games can just give you so many fun experiences, and
I know
it's amazing.
Yes. So, anyways, Jared, for you, we played some Camel Up, and it was great.
Dallin, my boy Dallin here, told me there's an expansion to Camel Up, and he said it kills. So I might have to be looking into the expansion of Camel Up. So
I have Camel Up, the card game, and it is actually really good. Yeah.
It's a good like portable way to take that game on the go, and it's more of like you have your finger on the scales a little bit because you can play the cards through the leg stack. So it involves a little more strategy. It's actually like more complex than the base game.
Yeah.
Anyways, we played Camel Up. It was a hit. We played Camel Up, the card game, last weekend with Rachel's brother. That was a hit, and then we also played Verdant this past weekend or yesterday. And I had played that before. I played it at my German game night that I went to.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that puzzle. I think it's fun to like make the best guess on what will work out for your house in the long run. So in Verdant, you're drafting rooms and plants, and the plants match up with the light in the rooms. You're trying to kind of color code them so that the plants match the type of room. They're like the same color. And then you have these items that you can draft that can give you bonuses to grow your plants or to go into the rooms and give you color bonuses at the end. If you want to listen to more about Verdant talk, go back to that episode because it was pretty great. But that puzzle is hard to like play smartly over the long run. I always get to the very end in the few times that I've played it. I get to the very end, it's like I have no clue what my score is going to be. I have no idea how any of this is going to shake out. And it's always a surprise who ends up winning because, like, it's not a game where you can like keep an eye on someone like, oh, they're in the lead or whatever. Like, it's always a surprise. So I don't know. I love Verdant. I think it's cozy. I think it's a great like date night game. Rachel did not enjoy it. It's not her type of puzzle.
So not a date with Rachel. Who else are you taking on a date with this game?
I don't know. I'll probably only bring this out on select occasions, but the family that we were gaming with, they loved it. We got the kids involved in both games, Camel Up and Verdant.
Nice.
And they borrowed both of those games so that they could participate.
Hey, love it. Spreading the joy of gaming. That away, Travis. Does Rachel like, Verdant's like made by Flat Out, right? And they also did Calico and Cascadia. Does she like either of those two, or does she not like those puzzly type games?
I don't think she's played either of those, but we played Fit to Print, and she liked that one well enough. I mean, that's a much faster game though.
Yeah.
And it like keeps you moving and you're always doing stuff. I think she was also like holding the baby half the time that we were playing, and so she was like kind of not focused on the game, so maybe we'll give it another shot and it'll stick this time. But she likes Fit to Print, so maybe.
Interesting.
The one other thing that I have to brief is that I got my new copy of Rebirth.
Whoa.
2024 production by Reiner Knizia, published by Mighty Boards. Signed copy by Reiner.
Whoa.
No big deal.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
By the doctor?
By the good doctor. So Reiner goes through these like phases where he has this similar theme or mechanic in his games. And right now he's in his like area control era. He's had his like his betting era. He's had his trick taking era. He's in like his area control era right now.
Oh my gosh! You know how many? I have this saved, like 15 different copies of this saved on eBay, because I am having huge FOMO about the latest Knizia game, and the reviews I've been listening to are pretty positive about it. So
yeah,
I am very interested in.
I'm a little confused why this one is getting more publicity and better reviews than like the Cascadito, because it's kind of the same mechanic, really. Like you're scoring points based on your like groupings of different areas that you control on the map. So the map is this big hexagon map of Scotland and England, I believe, is the other one. There's two different versions on either side of this board. And what you're doing is on your turn, you just pick up one of these chits that have houses on them and you put them on the board. Okay. Where you put those chits on the board score you points based on the groups, based on what type of suit of land that you're putting it on. And if you put it next to these abbeys or castles, you can like take control of the abbey or castle. And so what you're really trying to do is like this area control type thing where you're putting these down in a way to make the largest groups and to strategically take control of the castles and abbeys. There's like a version that has like ports. And if you like control the port, then you get an extra point or whatever. But that's like the whole mechanic. And there's like different rules on where you can and cannot put and how they score and stuff. But the mechanic is super simple. You like take your big pile of chits and like right next to your player board. You take two of them, you put them back in the box. And those are just kind of like to randomize the selection that you have. And then on your turn, you just pick up one of those chits, you look at it secretly, and then on your turn, you just put it on a hexagon. And once all the hexagons are filled, the game's over, and you score points based on your groupings and who controls what. So
I love that simplicity. One tile. You have one tile to look at and decide where to place it. Like, those are the games I crave.
It says it's got a weight of 2.03 on Board Game Geek. And honestly, like that's not based on the mechanics or anything. It's based on like the rules on where you can and cannot put and how the different castles and abbeys and stuff score. But like your mechanic, the mechanic itself and the decision that you're making is I pick up a chit, which of these hexagons do I put this chit on? And that's it. That's your whole decision. And so play time is listed as 45 to 60. I think on the box it says 60 minutes. This game, if you were playing like 2-player, 3-player, could fly by in like half an hour if you were really cooking and people were like thinking between their turns. So yeah, it's a deceptively simple game, but Reiner's definitely in his area control era right now. So
nice.
Whatever the era is he's in, I'm always there for it.
Yeah, you got to try it. Got to dip your toe at least a little bit. So yeah, that's Rebirth. I'm looking forward to getting that played here soon. I just unboxed it like yesterday. So
nice.
One more shout out is Board Game Geek Secret Santa.
Oh,
my Secret Santa went all out, and I have 3 big boxes underneath the Christmas tree right now. And she's from Seattle. I wish I could like shout out her username right now, but she wrapped them all nice and like left me like a little postcard from Seattle in there that says Santa said I've been a good boy. And so I have these 3 board games that are just dying for me to unwrap underneath the Christmas tree, and I'm looking forward to seeing what those are.
How do you stop yourself?
It's challenging. It's challenging, but
so yeah. Did you like input your games that you have so that she knows not to get you one you already own? Or
so this one, when you sign up, you can type in like, "Oh, I'm looking at this game this year," or here's my wish list or whatever.
Yeah.
But when they do the matching, it just gives your Santa access to your Board Game Geek wish list. And so if you're wish listing games throughout the year, then they can read through all those and select which games to select from. So
really, that's cool.
That's very cool. Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, I've done this the past couple of years, and I have never been disappointed. Either it's a game that I know, or they're looking at my wish list and picking a game that they love that's based on my wish list. So I've gotten some surprises, ones that I was not expecting to get, but they've always been great. So
who were you a Santa for?
I was Santa for somebody in Colombia, actually, who has a P.O. box in Miami. So at the top of his wish list were Sky Team and Small World, and I love both of those games. So I sent him both.
Nice.
Yeah. So excited for him to get those and give those a play because I love me some Small World and I love me some Sky Team.
That's fun.
Sky Team, man. It's a hit.
And they have their new expansion, so I'll have to give that a try sometime.
Did it win the Spiel des Jahres?
Yeah, I did. Last year.
Okay,
last year,
nice.
Clayton, debrief your week for me.
Huge week this week. So on the heels of Jared's boards night, our group here really decided that would be a fun thing to do. So we fired one up on Friday night. Everybody brought their charcuterie boards. Just by happenstance, I've had that charcuterie board game on my Amazon wish list for some time, and Mary's sister sent it to me for Christmas. So I got it like 2 days before our boards night. I was like, obviously we're playing this. So charcuterie, the board game, is an I split, you choose board game where you're trying to make a charcuterie board with the right combinations of dips, meats, cheeses, breads, and fruits. And so on your turn, everybody kind of takes a turn at the same time, but one person's a host and they get X amount of items out of the bag and they split them up into stacks equal to the amount of players. And then the stacks get sent around the table and the person that's the host gets last choice of the stacks they made. So it's just I split, you choose. The theme, the weight, the approachability of it was all great. I love that there is this game in the world to be somebody's over and they're like, oh, you like board games? And yeah, I like board games. Here's an interesting one that might be appealing to you. It's about charcuterie. I know most people are appreciative of meats and cheeses these days. So yeah, just a welcoming game that people will be interested in playing just based on the theme and how it's presented. I personally had some issues with and not me personally, but I noticed in our group of 6 players, the scoring seemed to be holding some people up, mainly the difference between groups and what's adjacent. Yeah. So, and what's a pair. It made sense to me, but I read the rule book and watched a video and I tried to explain it to them, but essentially like groups are like all touching together as big as you want it to be. Adjacent just means it's touching. A pair can be anywhere on your board.
Yeah.
And people just had a hard time internalizing the different scoring objectives and like, oh, I need a group of cheese that is all different. It just didn't seem to be as clean as it could be, especially given the target audience is probably going to be people that are not as familiar with board gaming. So I wish there was a simpler set of like that was the base set of scoring objectives that we use. So I wish there was something.
There's a hidden objective too, and
yeah,
people like that can throw people off too. I think.
Yeah, because then they can't even ask about it because they feel like they're throwing
giving up.
But I don't think anybody had trouble with their hidden objectives too much. Mine was like the vegetarian, so I didn't want to have any meat on my charcuterie board, which was fun. But anyway, it was like 30 minutes. I think in general, I split, you choose. It's a mechanism I like, but I don't know that I like it at 6 players because it feels like you want to make an interesting decision as the host as to what you put in these stacks. But I think at 6 players, ultimately, it doesn't really matter. Like you were making stacks of 2 and you could try and put a stack on there that you really wanted, but the odds of it coming around back to you are so slim. And it's, I just don't know that that's a player count that I split, you choose shines at because, and I think making that the drafting mechanism probably just slows the game down versus just saying, pull out 6 stacks of 2 tiles and pass it around. you're just giving someone a choice that's not really a choice. And you watch people like stewing over making these piles, and it's like, it really doesn't matter. Yeah. So I don't know. I've liked I Split You Choose in other games, but I just think at 6 players, it's adding playtime by making people think they have to do these clever things with these stacks, when in all reality, you're just playing a 30-minute drafting game where you're trying to get the right meats and cheeses on your board. So yeah, maybe a lower player count.
I was going to say, it's funny that we had similar experiences. I didn't debrief it on the podcast, so I probably should have, to warn you about some of those same things. Not saying that it wasn't fun. It was fun, but I could see it being fun at 2, because at 2, I think you get to make even more piles, and you take multiple turns drafting from there. At 6, it's like, there's so many of them, and it's like one person was taking like 8 minutes to make these little piles, and I was kind of distracted because there's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm like, guys, it doesn't really matter. None of this matters. Like, just make little piles, we'll go around. And like, each type of like veggie, fruit, meat, cheese, like each one has like 5 or 6 different kinds too. So it's like, there's so many options. It gets like, people are like, should I put this with this, or should I do that? And maybe like at 5 or 6, you should just like, it just randomize the piles, like just go.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't think that mechanism added much to the game experience. Like, it would have been just as fun just to draft the food items off the tray without knowing somebody split them up in some specific pattern. So, but anyway, I mean, I'm glad to have it just because of the theme, and it's something I feel like I could, introduce to people. But I don't know that I would do 6 players again. Maybe 4 or less I would try, but it probably just took a little too long for what it was. And it didn't take that long, but again, it's a silly drafting game where you're making our charcuterie board. It doesn't have to be rocket science. So we played that. And then the Spanglers recently got into Wingspan, and Carlin has been dying for Alana to play Wingspan with her. And she has so far been giving her the stiff arm. So Carlin used this opportunity of this boards and boards night to pitch a 6-player game of Wingspan, which without the flock mode introduced in Wingspan Asia would have been an unmitigated disaster. But I wouldn't, on a normal day, play I wouldn't play most games above 3 players, really, because they just take too long. Like, playing Wingspan at 2 players, it's like an hour, maybe 3 players, 90 minutes. If you're getting much longer than 2 hours on Wingspan, forget about it. But fortunately, in the latest expansion, they introduced a flock mode so that you can play with 6 players without incurring all the debt of additional playtime. So how they do that is, in Wingspan Asia, you got a extra die, and you got like a little place to play out bird cards. So you have everything in Wingspan Asia to play the game. It's just like a slimmed down version. So essentially, you take your regular Wingspan with the bird feeder and everything, and you take your Wingspan Asia bird feeder and die, and you make 2 supplies of bird feeder cards and resources. And then there's this little dial in the middle that has all the player colors around it. And on each turn, there's a dial pointing to one player at the one end of the table, one player at the other end of the table. And so they both take their turns simultaneously from their own supplies. So it's like you're playing a 3-player game, but at 6 players.
Twice.
And I was shocked at how well it went, because I mean, we had one person, Alana, hadn't played it before, but she picked it up really quick, and it was kind of fun. Like, we made it like this whole thing where, oh, it's our pod, it's your pod. Like, hey, what's going on at your pod? Why are you guys taking so long down there? And so, like, Mary and I would always be taking our turn at the same time, and we would like race to be who's done quicker.
Done
like,
first.
My turn's done. Boom.
Nice.
And then everybody's like ready to go. Okay, red and orange, your turn. All right. And then it just moved really nice, and everybody stayed engaged throughout the whole thing. So I thought it was a very clever way to up the amount of players that can play Wingspan without taking for freaking ever, because it's a good game, but it's not good enough for me to want to play it for 3 or 4 hours. Like I will be sick of those freaking birds at the end of 4 hours. But it probably took us just under 2 hours to get it done with 6 players. So yeah, and we took a break to put my kids to bed at one point. So yeah, flock mode was awesome.
Is it for 6 players, or is there other player counts?
You can also use flock mode for 7 players. It adds, but for 5, I don't know. I think you have to just play the regular game.
Okay.
But nice. Yeah, great experience, awesome time. And it just highlighted to me the fun sometimes of just playing a game that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Because it's so often that I have all these games that I want to play, and when I get the opportunity to play with people, I want to play one of those games that I haven't gotten to play yet. But it ends up being a cumbersome experience a lot of times, trying to teach people and, get into that experience. And sometimes it's just fun to play a game that everybody knows. So like 5 of the 6 of us knew Wingspan well, and, very little teaching, just everybody's doing their thing. Like you didn't have to watch and make sure, hey, remember that you have the end around goal that you can get, like, just like all these little things that you normally have to do when you're teaching people a game for the first time. It's something I want to do more of, is play games that everybody already knows.
Yeah.
But I will always still want to get those other games played. So I don't know. It's a freaking tough situation to be in, because it was a lot of fun just playing Wingspan, and everybody knew it. Everybody was having a good time. Everybody was doing their thing. Like, it was great. But I got a whole wall of games back there that are itching to get off the shelf. And
it's a gamer's dilemma.
Yeah. That's my debrief.
That sounds great. Glad you got a good game night in. Some boards and boards. Did you hand out board awards?
No, we didn't go board awards. But I would not have won the board award because we contributed very little at the Gable household. The Olives and the Spanglers really brought the heat with their boards, and I think Mary made a margarita board. So, and we had a candy board, which was nice. But yeah, we had some good stuff. The boards were packed. The games were fun. It was a successful night, inspired by the Ericksons.
Excellent. Are we ready to fall in on the mission objective?
Let's fall.
Jared says press. So, mission objective this week is our year in review. We're going to talk about some highlights. We're going to talk about maybe some lowlights, some favorite games, and then we are going to talk about what we want to get out of next year in our board game hobby. So, Clayton, opening thoughts.
It's obviously been a monumental year for the 3 of us. I mean, we started a podcast a few months ago, so that's of note. Other than that, I've played a lot of good games, and I've enjoyed that. So,
Jared, any opening thoughts before we dive in?
I mean, my overview is very simple. I was internationally separated from my family, but I did enjoy some good gaming in Korea with my team over there, and then reunited, and then unfortunately ripped from Clay from the OVR and went to Alabama. But I have tried to establish my new game group, and I think I got some good dudes. They might not be into the biggest of the big boys games, but they're still good contenders. But a lot to look forward to next year. So I'm excited to get into our main objectives today.
Yeah, I think for me, this has been a much slower year game wise. It's going to be hard to top OVR life, where we are just jamming out games. We have full weekends dedicated to just playing games on a schedule, like a marathon.
Big boy game nights every Thursday.
Big boy game nights every Thursday. We're watching videos throughout the week. We're preparing. We know the ins and outs, and then we show up to the table ready to throw down. It's going to be hard to beat, but slower year game wise for me. But a highlight this year was definitely the creation of this podcast. We had been kicking around the idea for a while, and I just texted these guys out of the blue and said, want to start a board game podcast. And like maybe 2 weeks later, we had this up and running with our first episode. So it's been a learning process, and it's been fun because I love getting together with you guys once a week and just BSing about board games because I miss you guys.
This podcast, I miss you too, and I love this group. Honestly, you've made me stretch quite a bit, Travis. I'm terrible at texting, both of you, and before I knew it, like the text went out about Operation Game Night, and before I actually like really read them and gave it my time and space and energy, I was like, holy, I think we're recording tomorrow, and so. I appreciate them being okay with my chaotic personality, but hopefully I bring a good vibe to the podcast. So I'm glad
we need you, Jared.
Clayton, give me one of your highlights this year.
So the first thing I want to talk about are my stats. Okay. I want to do a review. I religiously record my stats on the BG Stats app and also integrate my Board Game Arena plays into that app. And only for moments like this when I can spout off some numbers with some confidence here. So in total, I had 520 gameplays this year, which I don't know if that's a lot or not. It seems like a lot to me, but 180 different games I played this year, which
that's pretty good.
I feel pretty good about that. Yeah, I've logged a lot of different games. 97 games I played more than one time, which that was probably the most shocking statistic of all to me because I feel like most of the time I play a game once and move on. If I get a second play, that's good. So for 97 times I played a game twice. I'm pretty happy with that. 18 games I played more than 5 times, with the most surprising of those 18 being Arcs. I wouldn't say surprising. It's just that's a pretty big game to get 5 plays of in, I feel like. So I feel lucky that I got that one made the 5-time list. Excellent. And then 7 games I played more than 10 times, with Castles of Burgundy leading the way with 42, Sky Team at 15, Captain Flip at 13, That's Not a Hat with 12.
Nice.
Heat, Pedal to the Metal, 11. Sea Salt and Paper, 11. Distilled, 10. And Mountain Goats, 10. So
nice.
That's a great list of games to be playing 10 or more times. I mean, there's a reason they've all been hitting the table and the digital table. All great games.
Yeah. How do you reconcile your BGA and your other guns? You have to physically add them all. You have to go.
No. There's the BG Stats app integrates with Board Game Arena. So you just hit import and it pulls in all your plays from BGA.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So those are my stat highlights for the year. I feel accomplished. I've done a lot. I've talked a lot. I've also done now 19 podcast episodes. Actually, 18.
That's the only stat that matters.
18 because Travis did one by himself. But 19 if you count being on Gamesy Moss with Vic.
That's also true. Yeah, I think we're tied, Clay. I think we're both tied for 19 episodes because I took a week off when my daughter was born, and you took the week off when I did my solo episode. So I think we're tied for perfect attendance.
We'll see who comes out on top.
Yeah. Jared,
don't ask me about my stats.
Welcome to your 5th episode, Jared.
Yeah. That's right.
So, Clay, you have all these stats. You have give me the total number again. 500 and what?
520 plays.
Okay. Damn. Are you gonna do 520 burpees to celebrate, or 520 push-ups, or
I don't think so.
Oh.
I'll take 520 steps.
Okay, 520 Ritz Bits.
Oh,
I probably could. I was into some Ritz Bits last night.
Were you bitten?
I was bitten.
All right. So, Jared, give me some highlights from this year besides the podcast.
Besides the podcast, I was going to say, and I hate bringing it up all the time, but being in Korea, and I had this bag, this Korea Costco reusable bag that I would keep all my games in, and I'd run to the Squadron bar, carry my sweet little bag, and we'd hit some games on Saturday night we're all very lonely without our families, but we found, some comfort and fun at the bar, just playing some wholesome board games. Got to like play other games that I didn't own myself, like Munchkin and just good people and finding, I don't know, some more sense of a community there. Because I'll be honest, if you rewind like a year and a half when I first got to Korea, it's just crazy. It's a show. I don't know what I'm doing in my job. Well, I still don't know what I'm doing in my job, but there's a lot of like, it's tough being out there on your own, but then finding the community with my game group and holding each other up. It was good.
Yeah,
I would say that was probably my highlight. But also all the online games would be also a huge highlight. Would be staying connected with my friends and my family that I don't get the pleasure of being around as much as I want to be, but I still get to throw a couple dice or play some cards or whatever on any of these online platforms. I'll leave that at that for my highlights for sure. But I'm grateful for board games. That's what the end of it is. So
yeah, I think that's always so cool. Is like every time you go on deployment or go overseas or like go on these trips, there's always someone that's like willing to play cards or play a game, or like you go to the squadron bar, or like I was at IUD, there was like a crew that was always there playing board games all the time.
Nice.
in the bar. So yeah, you find these little niche groups that always want to like just connect, and you tend to form tighter groups that way. I like it.
Yep.
What about you,
Travis?
So it feels like it was within the year, but because it's our first like end of year podcast, I want to say that SN was like a huge highlight for me. I know that it's like a little over a year. It was last October or whatever, but SN Spiel was amazing. And I definitely want to go, the three of us, to a couple board game conventions in the future, because Dice Tower West I thought was cool. Like, got a lot of games played. We got to like experience some new stuff. Essen was like a whole other level. So we need to go to like PAX U or Gen Con or something together,
or BGG Con in Dallas,
or BGG Con or whatever. Yeah, we gotta make it out to one of these conventions, because it was unreal experience, and I definitely want to make it to more of those in the future. Clayton, hit me with your next one.
The next thing I wanted to talk about are my notable games that were new to me this year. So I don't play enough games to have like a top 10 that came out in 2024 list. I think that would just be the 10 games that I played that came out in 2024. So it would be that interesting. But I have played a lot of games that were new to me in 2024. So I want to just do a quick 10-1 of the games that I had never played before, but played this year, and how I ranked them. So number 10, shocking. I had never played it up until this point, but that was Love Letter, which
nice.
Scott and Brittany introduced me to that. Such a fun little game in this little stack that you can just play with a group of people and, be done in 15 minutes, play another round. It's just one of those games. It's a beer and pretzels game, trying to deduce what other people have in their hand. Super simple to teach, but yeah, that has been a fun game that I discovered this year. That's my number 10. Number 9 is Harmonies, the abstract place. I guess you're placing these little habitat tiles or blocks. Have you played Harmonies, Travis? How would you describe
I did the tutorial on BGA, but yeah, they're like little tiny hexagon cubes that you're putting on the other hexagon spaces. It is very abstract and kind of strange, but
yeah. So anyway, you're placing these cubes out, forming these habitats for these animals. So then you can put the animal cubes on the habitats, and it's just this brain burning puzzle, but it plays pretty quick and it's a joy to look at. And I've enjoyed playing that with Mary. Number 8 is Architects of the West Kingdom, which I talked about last week. That's one that just stays in my head as that was a lot of fun. I just really enjoyed how quickly the turns went and how it just kept moving along at such a nice pace. I'm really looking forward to playing that again sometime soon, hopefully. Number 7 is Planet Unknown, one of the first games I talked about on the podcast, but it's that Tetris-y polyomino game where you're got the lazy Susan in the middle and you're taking a tile off and playing it on your planet and then moving up tracks and unlocking benefits. yeah, that game is fun, simultaneous play, so it moves quick, approachable. So on BGA, you guys should try it out if you haven't. Number 6, another simultaneous play game, Fromage.
Oh, nice.
Recent hotness. Played it a few times now. And yeah, it's just a fun game that gives you a lot for a 30 to 45 minute game. And again, it's another one that I just keep thinking I can't wait to play that one again. Skyrise is number 5. That one was also one that I talked about early on in the podcast, which gives you like raw vibes with the bidding mechanism, but you're spreading out over this map trying to collect these little tokens to score points at the end. It's just a fun game where the rules are super simple and there's plenty of interaction with the other players trying to figure out what to do. Number 4 is Ironwood. That game was freaking awesome. I have not convinced anybody to play it with me since I've played it 3 times with Mackenzie, who introduced it to me. But yeah, that asymmetric battle over the woodlands totally got Root vibes, but it's a little quicker, designed for 2 players, and it is probably deserves a lot more plays than I've given it. So I'm definitely looking forward to hopefully playing that some more next year. Number 3 is Duel for Middle Earth. So I just think this game took Seven Wonders Duel and just made it better, period. So, and that was already a good game. And I love the theme. I love the drafting they've come up with for the Seven Wonders Duel. And yeah, the only using 1 coin to pay the difference in what you need for resources makes it so much smoother. The fact that there's no end game scoring just, again, makes everything, it smooths it out and makes it this tense battle where you have to keep an eye on all 3 fronts. Are they getting to the end of the ring track? Do they have supremacy over the board? Are they about to get their 6th alliance? It's just a tense battle throughout all 3 of the eras, and it is a great game. Number 2, Arcs. Freaking love playing Arcs. I mean, it's going to be a game that's going to be tough to play. It's not as hard to teach as Root because everybody is doing the same thing. And I think their player aids are amazing. They have like a full pamphlet for it, but I love trick taking games, and like the fact that you're using trick taking as that mechanism that determines the actions you can take. My gosh, every decision just feels so important and tense in that game. It's like you always are on alert because somebody can just sweep in and battle you with a bunch of red die and knock out all your stuff. Yeah. It is a great game, and it's not for the faint of heart. It's going to be random. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be in your face, but that's what Cole Worley does, and it is awesome. And number 1, new to me game this year, Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah,
I said it when I talked about in the episode. It might have been one of my favorite game experience of all time. It was definitely my favorite game experience of the year. It was a blast to play. The theme just shines in this game, and I didn't want it to be over. So if I can get that played once a year, I'll be a happy man. And that's my top 10 rundown of the games that were new to me that I played this year.
That sounds awesome. This was a banger year for 2-player games, specifically 2-player games. You got Ironwood, Kelp, Shark versus Octopus. Sky Team got a whole new life this year. You had like a King of Tokyo duel come out, Lord of the Rings duel. You had all sorts of 2-player games. The new, I know it's not specifically. It is specifically 2-player. The new Star Wars deck building, Clone Wars expansion, standalone,
Everdell
Duo. Like, it was a good year for 2-player games.
Heck yeah.
Maybe the world's getting a little more cozy,
Yeah,
they're
maybe
pairing up, and I mean, the world's not having as many kids, but get a little closer with your spouse, I guess.
They're trying to cater to millennials that just live with their significant others.
That's right.
Jared, any other highlights from this year?
I mean, I wasn't gonna start spouting off a 10 board game list.
Okay.
If you want, I can try and scratch something together. But I was gonna say Arcs was pretty badass, and we got Cole to the table on that one too, right? And he showed up all cyberpunked out. He's got his like freaking hair and a mohawk and boots, and his chest is showing. So I was excited. That was a pretty good one. That was a good highlight.
That was crazy, though. You guys, I mean, it was a school night, and we played Arcs, and it went a couple hours, and we ended at like 11. And you and Cole are like, let's play it again. And I was like, you mean right? I mean, you mean right now? Like tonight? Like, I got work tomorrow.
I don't need no sleep. That's kind of also a motto of mine is that, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Because, the thing was, that was like the 2 weeks that I had in Colorado between Korea and Alabama. So I'm like, of course I'm going to spend it with my friends,
Yeah. So we stayed up late on a school night and played it again. And it was awesome. Like that's how good the game was, that after 2 hours of being in each other's faces, we're like, let's do it again. And this time let's use the leaders and lore cards.
Oh my God. You guys are machines. That's wild.
Yeah. I think that might be one of the photos on your player board, maybe is that night. So you take a look at it.
That sucker's getting framed. Travis, you got any highlights?
Yeah, it's been fun to kind of stretch my gaming limits this year. It's been kind of a weird year, both with moving overseas and trying to find a new game group and having a kid. So gaming habits have changed a bit, and it's definitely like pushed me to reconsider all of my hobbies, not just gaming, and how they fit into my life, and how can you continue to partake in a hobby that takes as much time as board gaming when you're stretched for time like this. People always talk about like their workout routines change when they have kids and they move and they find a new gym, or people have to adjust their habits or their hobbies to their current life situations. I'm not getting paid to play board games. Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
But
want to sponsor us, let us know.
Yeah. So I've had to really consider how it fits in, and the answer is you kind of have to get it in where you can. And like Clay, my habits have changed a lot this year. I've kind of gone for the lighter games, the quicker games, the games that can fit in a backpack. I got a whole bunch of pocket games that I played this year, to include all the button shy ones and the sea salt and papers and the scouts, and like these ones that can fit in the backpack have been great to just pull out in a hurry, play a game in 30 minutes or whatever, and then on to the next thing. So yeah, it's kind of made me question what this looks like going forward. And I think my habits have definitely changed, and hopefully I, get to a point where I have big crunchy game nights once a week on Thursdays, but that's a tall mountain to shoot for. So it'll probably be a while before I get to that point. And till then, I'm just enjoying games where I can, when I can.
No, so
what are you trying to scavenge for, Clayton? What are you looking for?
So what I was going to say about, I've certainly been in this hobby since I had my kids. And now, as we alluded to in our one episode dedicated to it, I'm at the point where my kids are also my gaming buddies. Yeah. So I've got, I was trying to see how many games I've played with Mason. I've played 90 games with Mason this year.
Whoa.
Dang. Yeah. So, I mean, eventually, if you
and they're not these like little what's that one bird in the fruit games? Like these are like some serious games you guys are playing.
Yeah. 91 with Isaac. Isaac actually likes playing games a little more than Mason, but eventually, the kids get old enough, they start enjoying it, and you can start introducing them to games too. And, then your hobby gets even better because you can enjoy it with the people that mean the most to you.
Jared, how many games of Hungry Hippo did you get in with Gemma?
I mean, I don't know if you count when she grabs the balls and throws them on the floor. I think that counts as a play.
You become
just about every morning.
I'd log it.
Yeah. and then we try to make sure we have all 20 of them, because there's like this little holder that has like a little curve and a little spot for each one, and so we have to find all 20. She can count to 20, so she can do it. But
excellent.
Hey, I got one more reflection.
Oh yes.
Now that I pulled these stats up, I just wanted to give a shout out to some of my high potency gamers out there that have logged a lot of hours with me. So obviously Mason Isaac, Mary, I've got her down here as 263 plays between Board Game Arena and in real life. So she's put in the work. I appreciate her. She's not always happy about it, but I think we enjoy that time together. From my opinion,
it's pretty close to 2 games a day.
2 games a day?
500 something divided by 3. I mean, yeah, not for her.
Me. Sorry. Oh, yeah, for me. Yeah.
You total. Like, you're going to get a lot of these games in.
Yeah. My mom, I played 55 games with her. Nice. So she comes out a couple times a year, and she loves playing games. And we will probably play like 20 games in the week that she's out here just because she likes to experience them all. And she's on BGA, and we play games on there too. So my mom's a big one. And then Spanky, he's coming in there with 31 games played. Actually, it's way more than that because I have him on here as Spankalicious from BGA too. So he's up in the 80s for me. So Spanky's been holding it down since you guys left. And then final shout out. Again, I've lost some of the crew this year. Jared and Cole taken off. But anyway, with them leaving, Scott and Brittany just moved down here from Denver, and those two have been an amazing power gaming couple. Like, they love doing it, and
they bring a lot of energy.
They bring a lot of energy, and they're excited to learn new games. So, looking forward to playing more with them in the upcoming 6 months before I leave.
Can we just retire already and all move to the same spot? Like, I'm sick of this. Like, being having a career and stuff. I'm done with it.
Me too.
Well,
that's why I quit the military.
That was a great Oscar speech. That was like, I'd like to thank all the gamers out there. So.
I was about to start playing the music.
Dang, guys.
Clay gets into the top 25 things he likes to do before he plays board games.
Jeez.
Okay. Jared, what are you looking forward to in the new year for board gaming?
This is probably not really the best part. I mean, looking forward to, I have a week-long war gaming exercise going on in May. I think it's May.
Yeah.
We are playing Next War. I think it's like purpose-built for professional military schools and stuff. But there's like 500 of us, and we're all going to be playing a war game at the exact same time, where there's resources that have to be spread across the entire 500 of us. And we're all going to be essentially doing a world war. It's going to be very interesting. There's lots of little tiles. I bought little tongs to grab the cardboard pieces. There's a lot of, what do you call cynicism? People don't like it. I'm trying to have a good attitude, but that is something to look forward to. I mean, we're building our skills. It's insane. You can Google Next War, and it is so in depth. Like, there's land components, air components, sea components.
Space
Travis
components.
will get all into it next year. They actually like group space and cyber into like one little weird thing, and there is a 10-sided die you got to roll, and I kind of like it a little bit, but no, it's a good time. But that's something to look forward to in gaming.
Clay, what are your things you're looking forward to in gaming this year?
Made a quick list before we got on of some games on my shelf of opportunity, and some games that I am expecting to get delivered in Kickstarter that I'm looking forward to. So Star Wars Rebellion, got that recently. It's from Fantasy Flight, and if it's anything like the Battlestar Galactica experience, thematic, which it seems like it will be, I am really looking forward to trying that out. Rising Sun, got that at the Petri Swap. Haven't got to play it yet, but hope to in the new year. Mobile Markets, Smartphone Inc., standalone game. Want to play that. I really like Smartphone Inc., and Picked up the mobile markets at that St. Petru swap and haven't got a chance to play it yet. I got a Magic beginner box, Magic Foundations beginner box. And I know. Listen, I want to give it a try. I mean, it is money spent on card and board game in the world. I'm sure Magic is the tops. I don't have any stats to back it up, but there are so many people that are obsessed with this game. There's got to be something to it. So I want to give that a try, and I would also like to turn that into a Clay's CCG review, where I go through and play all the CCGs I have, again, just from a novice perspective, because I've played One Piece, I've played Star Wars Rebellion, I've played Lorcana, I've played Pokemon, I've played...
What does CCG stand for?
I mean, Star Wars Unlimited, sorry, collectible card game. And I want to play Magic, so I'd like to round out my experience on that.
Don't let it consume you or change your personality. Okay, I warn you.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be fine. I'll be fine.
Okay.
And then Kickstarter's coming. 2 from Bitewing, the sci-fi epic Knizia trilogy, and then there's a 2-player Kickstarter they did earlier than that one. It's got like Iliad and Ikor. Yeah, two like 2-player only games that looked really fun. Yes, so that's hopefully coming this year. Super excited about those 2. And then Merchant's Cove, I probably backed that years ago, and God willing, it comes this year. It's Merchant's Cove, like with an expansion. I forget what it's even called. It's been so long. But what I'm most excited about is the big box that comes with it to store all the different factions in there, because there's a lot of different pieces for the different factions, and I think that will really help with the organization. But hopefully the rest of that comes this year. I'm excited about that. And then Travis sent me a box of games, just like he sent you, Jared. And there are 2 I'm very interested in, little trick-taking games from All Play, Lunar and Mori. I have not... Trick-taking got me into games as a kid, and I love playing trick-taking games. I just have not been playing my trick-taking games lately. And I want to make a point to start playing some more trick-taking games in the new year, starting with those 2, because I've read the rules and they seem super innovative and fun, and I just need to get the right people together to give those a try. But that's it for me. That's what I'm looking forward to next year.
And for me, I did my whole episode on like solo games that I want to get played. That's a lot of the games that I want to try this year. No shortage of Kickstarters that will continue to roll in for years to come. So I'm going to be sustained by that. A couple of highlights: the new Wonderlands War Mad Kala. There's a new thematic story-driven game in the Western Legends universe that is coming out here soon. Looking forward to that one. I think it's called like Western Stories or something. The name is not great, but looking forward to that one because I love me some Western Legends. I definitely want to get some more Batman Gotham City Chronicles played because that season 3 just dropped. And then they're going to launch a RPG campaign if you want to swing around as Batman or create your own Bat character and partake in some RPG stuff. New Root faction. I want to give that a try. Have not had the opportunity to do so. The 2 new factions in the new expansion. So looking forward to those. Yeah, the sky's the limit. And most importantly, I just want to continue to like get better at this podcast because we are learning something every week. I like doing this and I enjoy talking to you guys. And we hope to keep putting out good content for our listeners. So the podcast is at the top of my list of things to look forward to this next year.
And I promise I'll get better at sharing my screen. I apologize about that, guys. Sorry.
All good.
We're using new tools every week, so
I don't know if we've had 2 weeks where we've done it the exact same way. We've like changed something every single week, whether it's mics or headphones or recording or editing software, or it's been something new every week. So we're doing it on the fly.
Yeah,
I love it.
Let's go over the fence very quickly. Rapid fire. Clayton, what else? What have you been doing outside of board gaming?
So I tried to get Carlin to watch Hamilton because passionate about Hamilton. She made it halfway through. Not happy about
Colin
that.
has never seen like Alexander Hamilton. Like
no.
Had a torrent affair right there.
No, and she quit halfway. So
okay, I'm gonna calling her right after this.
Yeah, it came up on Friday when we had our boards and board night that I had not seen Godfather, and she's like, "You need to watch Godfather." And I was like, "I will watch Godfather if you finish freaking Hamilton." So anyway,
oh my gosh,
I watched Godfather. I watched Godfather last night. Good movie. I'm eager to see the next one. I guess it makes the top of best movies of all time list for a reason. Pretty darn good. I should have expected it, but I my expectations were low for it, and it surpassed them. So looking forward to checking out Godfather 2 here soon.
Arguably better than the first one, so you'll enjoy that one.
That's my over the fence.
Awesome, Jared. Over the fence. What else you been doing?
So the biggest thing right now is potty training. Gemma just hit 2.5 years, so we do need to ratchet it down. But she is doing very well. But we have this like little travel potty. That is a little time consuming. And she sometimes has a little attitude with dad, because he's always like, "Hey, you gotta go potty. Let's go sit on the potty." And she's like, "No, Dad, no." But that's that's Gemma in a nutshell. But no, that's one of my big things going on outside of board gaming for sure.
That sounds exciting.
Travis, what do you got?
I have a couple audiobooks to shout out. We've been driving around a lot to these different Christmas markets and traveling a little bit. So I've been listening to Stephen Fry's like Greek trilogy. He's got his Mythos, Hero, and Troy. Mythos, Heroes, and Troy is the trilogy. And he narrates the books on Audible. And they're so good. You can like take any Greek classical mythology story and he makes it relatable and personable, and he adds in like a little bit of dialogue that is like true to story, but also gives it a little personality. It's so good. I listened to Mythos first, which is like the creation of the Greek pantheon, and then Heroes is about specific Greek heroes of legend. So Io and Hercules, or all those heroes and stuff. And then Troy is about like the Trojan War and all that stuff. So really enjoying those. And I would recommend those to anybody who enjoys audiobooks or the Greek pantheon of legends.
And he has a great accent. Stephen Fry's awesome dude. So
yeah, turns out one of the best like British actors is also good at reading books. So there you go. You can listen to those, and those are always entertaining. So did we do it? Is this the final episode for 2024?
Wow. Can we just do a group hug? Just lean in.
Good job, team.
Episode 19 in the books, 2024 in the books. We'll post a bonus episode next week while we enjoy time with our families. And we will be back in the new year, better than ever. More board games, more guest hosts, more features, more discussions, more friendship, better all around. So this has been episode 19 of Operation Game Night, and I have been Travis. He has been Clay. He's been Jared.
Dismissed.
And we'll see you in the new year.
See ya.